What goes on at work? Sexual harassment. A landmark Supreme Court ruling. Where are the boundaries? Rebound. The NBA player who threatened to kill his coach. Back in the game. Back in big money. Deep in the heart of Texas, what do these people think will happen on March 31st? And our special series, New Hope, the war on cancer. Tonight, ovarian cancer, a terrible diagnosis, but now aggressive new treatment holds new promise.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. Tonight, two important developments on how you can and cannot behave at work. One, a major Supreme Court ruling on sexual harassment with a new angle. The other, a professional basketball player who attacked his coach. We begin with a Supreme Court ruling on sexual harassment when all of the principals are of the same sex. Here's NBC's Pete Williams.
Even though today's ruling involves a dispute in an offshore oil rig, it will change the way sexual harassment law applies on the job everywhere. The case was brought by Jody Oncal, who claims that while working on that rig 6 years ago, two supervisors repeatedly grabbed him, once even in the shower, and threatened rape. So he quit.
I didn't want to wait for the next scene, you know. I was terrified.
But when he tried to sue, the judge threw his case out, saying there can't be discrimination in an all-male workplace. Today, in a unanimous ruling, the Supreme Court says, yes, there can. The decision, written by conservative Justice Antonin Scalia, says same-sex harassment was not the principal evil Congress was concerned with when it passed federal anti-discrimination laws, but nothing should prevent a lawsuit merely because all the parties in the case are of the same sex. But the court says don't mistake ordinary socializing in the workplace, like male horseplay or intersexual flirtation, for discrimination. The court rejected predictions that Oncal's lawyers wanted to transform the workplace, that if men could sue other men, it would turn roughhousing in military schools or fraternities into a federal case. Today's ruling says it's no problem when a football coach smacks a player on the rear on the sidelines, but would be if the coach did that to his secretary, male or female, in the office. Civil liberties lawyers applaud the ruling's message.
Common sense ought to prevail, and that if we apply common sense to most situations, people will be able to understand the line between appropriate behavior and inappropriate behavior.
But experts on workplace law predict the ruling will actually encourage more same-sex harassment lawsuits.
The publicity for this decision is going to alert a lot of potential plaintiffs and their lawyers that the Supreme Court has given the green light.
The justices say they're not trying to write a code of civility for the workplace. To win a sexual harassment lawsuit, it won't be enough to prove offensive behavior. There still has to be proof of discrimination. Pete Williams, NBC News, at the Supreme Court.
Now, a story that goes well beyond sports. A major victory tonight for Latrell Sprewell, the professional basketball player who attacked his coach, threatening to kill him. An arbitrator has ruled that his team and the NBA were too severe in their penalties. As NBC George Lewis reports now, the ruling has touched off a whole new wave of commentary.
Today, in a surprising double victory, Sprewell was reinstated with the Golden State Warriors, and his year-long suspension was shortened so that he'll be back on July 1st in time for next season. At the team's practice session this afternoon in Oakland, the coach, P.J. Carlesimo, seemed completely stunned by the news.
I haven't seen anything. I'm going to go up and take a look at it right now.
In a case that came to represent a backlash against violence in today's society, Sprewell was fired from the Warriors and suspended from basketball for a year in December after attacking Carlesimo, punching and choking him, leaving marks on Carlesimo's neck. The reinstatement means that Sprewell will be able to collect the remaining $16.3 million of his contract.